street samosa was also 31 years ago. So we've been having it for many, many years before that, but it's taken off very well. And over the years, we introduced 1, 2 new flavors. The cheese flavors are very popular. We now also have spinach samosas. We also do a Nutella samosa, which is a chocolate one, and so on. So we keep improvising, and hopefully in the next month or so after Ramadan, we'll be introducing 1 or 2 more flavors. So that's basically the story. But there is a big variety in samosas, and it's no more just a traditional.
Yeah, I see that. I didn't realize that coconut samosas went that far back. That it was something that even your mother was making.
Yeah, 50, 60 years ago now. We're talking that amount of time.
And I mean, to us, it's something that we thought was maybe 20 years old, 15 years old. And we were wrong, of course, but it just shows you, I know there was a time where people were talking about burfi ice cream not long ago, when Paul's ice cream went public with their burfi ice cream, and people were saying, well, we've been doing this for years, it's nothing new, it's something that we've been having as families for many years. Now you're telling me that coconut samosas is the same.
True.
So tell us a bit about how the name went from just samosas. Like I said, it was just samosas. Now it's a whole world of samosas with so many different flavors. Tell us a bit about how that name changed, and what that represented for you as well as a company.
All right. The origin of just samosas also was introduced with my uncle, Baboo Peter, who was very instrumental in this whole idea. Of course, he has passed away in the last 10 years or so. But we have carried on this tradition. And the thing that we saw what samosas were like in the market a good 32 years ago. And we used to see these huge samosas in various shopping centers, predominantly sold by white restaurants or white food outlets. And then we came up with the idea, we have to make the original, the home type samosas, the way we prepare them at home. And when we started this whole thing, it was quite a battle, because when we sold the first few dozens of samosas, people said, this is too small, this is too small. But we explained to them, this is the origin. This is how samosas should be. Anything larger than our samosas will fall into a pie category, or some call it by any other name.
Mm.
And of course, we tried the various flavors. Some failed, some took off. And then we stabilized as the years went on. And to today, 14 odd flavors available at any given time. For Ramadan period, it's always a treat for families. We do run specials for the prices. We're making our chutney. The chutney has been introduced also about 31 years ago. And the chutney is given with the samosas as well. Whether you buy even 6 samosas, you'll get a little chutney. If you're buying 5 dozen, the specials that we are running, we give you a bottle of chutney. So other than curries and all, our samosas is the heart of our business. And thank God we've maintained fairly high standards. We try very hard. And we are where we are today, with the help of Allah and, of course, the public in general. Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting how things evolve, and how you had to actually speak to people that were not perhaps of an Indian background and tell them that, look, actually samosas are not this big, at least not in our country, because I believe that samosas originate somewhere in Central Asia, and from there it's spread out, in different parts of the continent, in Asia and then the Middle East, and now in Africa. So obviously things look different everywhere, and people even say the name differently. Some bosas in some countries, some moasas in some parts of South Africa as well. So the name has different pronunciations everywhere. But for local people, on Twitter as well, speaking about all these different flavors. Yesterday was somewhat of a samosa war, if I can say that, because people were like, no, that's disgusting. How can you put Nutella in a samosa? No, it's coconut doesn't belong in a samosa. And I actually related a story that happened to me one day. I was about 10 years old at iftar with a friend of mine, and I bit into a samosa at iftar, and it was asparagus, and it wasn't very, very good. So everybody told me, I hope you're not friends with the person anymore. And somebody even used the Afrikaans term aspres, doing something on purpose, like asparagus. That must have been aspres, and it sounds similar. But obviously, I mean, it was taken in good faith. I bit the thing. I don't think I finished it, and the people don't know that I didn't
Right,
enjoy it. I mean, you have to, as a
right,
guest, you have to behave yourself,
right, right.
But somebody said here, this samosa, that samosa. I just want a samosa run, So we know samosa runs are also how people get married around here in Gauteng,
Right.
and just showing you how this food item has become so much part of our local culture and cuisine. Um, and from your perspective, how do you respond to people coming and saying no? Do they ever suggest new flavors to you, or even give you negative feedback about some of your flavors? How do you guys respond to that?
But look, we always are prepared to try out one or two. The ones that we have right now have proven over the years to be excellent. As I told you, we're going to introduce one or two new flavors soon after Ramadan. Uh, it's a question of trial and error. At one time, I just want to inform you, at one time, we were asked to make a milk samosa.
Oh,
And
okay.
we did three different types of milk fillings, but we were not happy with the taste.
Mm.
So we dropped the idea. So there are so many flavors that you can do with it. People have come to us with all sorts of requests, but the important thing is to acquire that taste. It's got to be a taste, and it's got to freeze well because we're producing X amount of samosas every single day, and they will be kept in the freezer because we cannot make only as the orders come in. And with a result, whatever samosa we make has to freeze and freeze well, so we can sell it the next day or the day thereafter. So we have tried a few, one or two haven't worked, but we will keep trying over the next few years, or hopefully we should get up to 15, maybe 20 flavors. Who knows what the future holds.
Yeah, I
But the
think
lockdown has knocked everybody out, and it's coming back to normal soon, God willing. So we will see as we go on introduction of new flavors. We'll just have to try out a few ideas.
yeah,
But thank God, it's become a household name.
definitely. I think that first of all, people need to make their way back to the Oriental Plaza, to fill their stomachs with world of samosas. But not just that, thinking about new flavors and how it's not a bad thing to actually innovate when it comes to food. It's not the most healthy thing to eat, but there are ways to air fry it, and there's also ways to put good stuff inside there as well that might be tasty. Another thing I wanted to share with you, somebody said, "But if you samosas, if you want to mix Ramadan and Eid." Somebody else said that they love Twitter because it's one big family that hates each other's samosa choices. So it just shows you how polarized this topic became. But I
That's
think
right.
for somebody like you, you'd have a good laugh if you read all the stuff because you aren't on the social media platform. But something that you guys are dealing with every single day is the focus of a discussion that has
Yeah.
become of national importance. And South Africans are really funny in that way that we centralize the food we eat, and obviously cognizant of the month of Ramadan being of fasting, and those that are not fortunate enough to maybe have social media or even have access to all these good foods, we need to distribute that. We need to make it something that everybody enjoys. But
Right.
we need to also appreciate the fact that we have this ability to trade in our goods here locally, and to experiment so well, and then build our community through that, because any money that's made, any economy that's driven by our local cuisine benefits the society that we live in, with the zakah, the sadaqah, supporting local businesses and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
um,
Most definitely. Yeah.
I'm sure you can speak a bit about the days of fitas as well, where families actually started their businesses here in Johannesburg, and how things have evolved to the plaza as well. Just for a few minutes
That's right.
before we close.
Sorry, just repeat that
So
last bit you said.
if you can just reflect for us the heritage of coming from Pitas to the Plaza, and Fordsburg, and how that's changed for you as well, and just how that's contributed to the local economy in the ever changing city of Johannesburg.
Well, Citas was a different society. It was a magnificent period that we all had when we lived there. But times change, and if you analyze it, you could never live there forever. You could never live there. Yet many people live there 50 years, 60 years, and some even longer. Times were different. Nowadays, with shopping centers opening all over, and our Oriental Plaza itself is a good almost 50 years or just a little over, and became an Indian area where Indian foods had to come in to the equation. Indian foods throughout the world nowadays is one of the most sought after cuisines. In the plaza, we were a handful of people that are making samosas, but there are a lot of other companies also making samosas. Yet we all survive on this. And samosas has become a big thing in everybody's diet on a daily basis, not necessarily only in Ramadan, and it is not necessarily a Muslim thing. Our clientele base has been absolutely marvelous. Black community, white community, it's taken off with them. Our curries also, we have some magnificent curries. We do the lamb curries, we do the chicken curries, big varieties of those. And it's taken off over the years. So your cultures change, your times change. And change is good because change is for everybody. And in the plaza itself, there's been a lot of changes over the last few years. But I'll tell you, the Oriental Plaza is still thriving. We all went through a very difficult period during the lockdown in the last year and a half. But it looks like it's coming back. If you were to walk in this plaza at this very moment, there are lots of people walking around. Lots of people walking around. The Indian food has become so popular. So popular. Now, in our area, in the Fordsburg area, a lot of foreigners, Bangladeshis, Indians, Pakistanis, all coming in and bringing their cuisines here to South Africa, to Johannesburg particularly. And it's good for everybody. Everybody, and your economy can only thrive. It can only get better and better. That's what I would say about our whole move from Fita. It's a different environment. Things were different then. Things are different now. Money is more easily available at the moment. Too many mixed cultures now. Everybody comes around to the plaza looking for the odd bargain or looking for something or the other that they can take home and be proud customers of the shops of the Oriental Plaza.
I think that's very well said about the way things have changed. That a positive spin on a very sad story, obviously, of forced removal, but something of a positivity, looking at how the plaza, how Fordsburg, how that part of Johannesburg has become a haven for people trying to make it. And to bring different foods in. I know Turkish cuisine also hit our shores and is a very healthy alternative compared to all of our spicy stuff. But nonetheless, the cuisine is growing. And many Hindu people, obviously, aside from the Muslim community in the Indian community, eat vegetarian. And your vegetarian samosa is very good. And I've received some people saying that their mothers make very good vegetarian samosa. So I'm keen to try that because it might be
Why not?
amazing. But I really appreciate the time that we've had to speak to you. And just to reflect on how samosas have really become a whole world of samosas, and how even youngsters on Twitter are speaking about it and fighting about it online today. It's really awesome to see how things have evolved. And wishing you all the best at World of Samosas in the Plaza. Hoping many people make their way there. There's many other samosa companies out there that you can choose from, and flavors that you can suggest, as you just mentioned. So people shouldn't feel afraid of doing that. But that's Uncle Baboo, Uncle Peter Garda. Really appreciate it, and all the best. Have a good Ramadan.
We thank you and Salam Media for putting us on air and to give us some sort of mileage. We all need a little bit of help. And you guys are doing a great job. We pray to Almighty Allah that He grants everybody some peace and happiness in our lives. we're all going through a very difficult period, and we're still going through it. It's not all over, but may Allah make it easy on everybody.
Amin, amin. Jazakallah to you, Uncle Peter, and all the
Thank
best,
you.
inshallah. Up next,
Thank-
we have Zakir Dawood. He is gonna speak about the sports show with Zakir Dawood, Sports with Zakir, and he's speaking to Marks Park Cricket Club, which is in Amarentia, in Johannesburg, and he is gonna be speaking to. Well, Zakir, just tell us who he's speaking to. You're in front of me. A good buddy of mine, Zakir Dawood, someone that always greets you with the salam pang, how are you? Tell us a bit about what you're going to be doing, Zakir.
So we're going to be having a jam-packed morning, well, let's say afternoon of sports. We're going to be chatting to the Marks Park captain, Zakir Katrada. He's going to tell us more about the Enza Premier League win. They're the first non-racial club to win this tournament. And, I mean, it comes a good 20-odd years after Unity, and for them to actually win this title. And then we're going to run through a bit of current affairs in sport. The Proteas recently went down to Pakistan in a series at home, left quite a bitter taste in the sporting community's mouth, with Mark Pouch obviously not being victorious in this. And then we're going to chat to one of our sports analysts that's going to tell us a bit more about the Nedbank Cup fixtures that's going to take place this weekend and everything in football.
Okay, so it sounds like a lot to swallow. We are fasting so we can make space for the sports stuff since we're not eating. All the best to you, Zakir. I'm going to bounce out the studio and carry on with my day. Perhaps have a samosa or two after this discussion that we had. I'm asking everybody to please keep Charlotte McClayke Hospital in your prayers, Joburg Gen, as it has been on fire and many people had to be evacuated. It's really sad what's happening in Johannesburg this past 24 hours. And anyone that can assist, please do so. Have a good Ramadan. I'll catch up with all of you next week. Pop me some suggestions about heritage that you'd like to talk about. And that's it from me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.